Our latest installment now of Maui Strong. The devastating wildfires here killed more than 100 people and scorched the historic town of Lahaina. And it's largely women who've stepped in to preserve the island's unique ecosystem and ensure that families can remain and rebuild on what is treasured property. Our Jaclyn Lee has this story.
Aloha Keokua, the ancestors, all those who have come before us.
In the months after devastating fires, as thousands heal, the wahine, or women of Maui, are stepping up and taking charge, tackling issues from the housing crisis to the environment.
I ask for your mana to come through so strong.
This is Ka'io Martin. She's a Maui grandmother, an environmental activist.
Stop the desecration, stop the dumping of the toxic waste.
And she's giving this ho'okupu, or offering, to her ancestors.
We'll lay this upon this first burial here as we enter onto this aina,
in hopes they will give her the strength to battle Maui County's decision to temporarily dump 400,000 cubic yards of toxic fire debris on this hillside in Oluwalu. Fire debris that is tainted by arsenic and lead.
So we are in the Oluwalu Pu'uhonua. Right in back of us is the sacred site where the Oluwalu toxic waste dump is. Here across the street is the mother reef of Hawaii.
Ka'io is a direct descendant of the Iwi Kupuna, Native Hawaiians who are buried on this very land.
Oluwalu, it's a complex of sacred sites. It is our constitutional right that these sites are protected.
And while the charred debris from homes and properties is contained in a plastic-lined pit, Ka'io says there is still fear that toxins could spread to their water system.
Here in Oluwalu are tremendous cave systems that run down into underwater springs. And under the dump site is where those springs are extremely close to the top of the aina. And that's one of the environmental concerns. There's no structural guarantee that there is not going to be contamination into the ecosystem surrounding them, above, below, side to side.
Ka'io says she plans to file a public nuisance injunction against the county this week.
It's basically a cease and desist, and for oversight to come in.
Days ago, the county announcing all of the toxic debris will permanently move from its temporary site in Oluwalu to Central Maui landfill across town. Nearly 40,000 truckloads of debris to be transported. Meanwhile, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers continues to clear land in fire-ravaged Lahaina so property owners can return and rebuild.
There's been a hurriedness and a rush to clear Lahaina, which we do need to do, but we need to do it in a very smart way, in a good way.
Keisha Joy has been a marine biologist for more than 30 years.
I've been in this room many times, and I know many of you council members.
Keisha speaking out regularly against the debris dump sites, concerned about their long-term impact.
Hawaii has the single most rich ecosystems of our planet.
Do you feel like we're currently in trouble?
I feel like we are teetering on some very, very sensitive areas and where we're putting this toxic ash.
The County of Maui says the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reviewed the Oluwalu site to ensure there were no significant environmental concerns. They say environmental samples will be reported and made public every 90 days. Their first report expected April 22nd. While these wahine fight for the land, others are fighting to ensure it stays in Lahaina hands.
One of our missions is to be empowering for the Lahaina community, to be able to live here, to thrive here and prosper here, and to engage with this place like we have for generations.
Carolyn Auve-Loa was born and raised in Lahaina.
Lahaina is my ku'one hanau, the sands of my birth. It's my mother.
She created the Lahaina Land Trust, now a 501c3 nonprofit that can offer to buy properties from families instead of those families selling to developers.
I was the first one to vocalize the crazy idea. We had this very, very real sense of foreboding for the possibility of these land grabs, of disaster capitalists that might try to come into Lahaina and take advantage of people that are in a really vulnerable position, and started to think about, well, what could we put in place to help push back against that.
Tamara Palton is currently president of the Land Trust.
As time goes on, we do hear very often of another family moving away, another family moving away, and so it's very like we're under the gun to succeed and succeed fast.
The Land Trust providing another alternative to homeowners that are financially unable to rebuild and forced to sell their property.
Perhaps there's a family that was underinsured or not insured, multi-generational, inherited the house, and don't have the resources to rebuild. And they may be forced with the need to sell their property. The Land Trust could be able to pay them for their property, hold it in the trust, and then engage with them in a lease capacity. We're talking about 99-year lease terms.
And while the nonprofit says it has received significant corporate and private donations, the reaction from the community has been mixed.
Some folks are just, naysayers. They're like, oh, what do they think they're gonna do, save all of Lahaina? And it's like, really, if we're able to save one property, that's one property that's saved.
The Land Trust operates from this makeshift workspace, sandwiched between two shipping containers in Napili.
We work until 11 or 12 at night most days.
Autumn Ness is a Land Trust organizer and no stranger to natural disasters. She moved to Lahaina after surviving the Fukushima nuclear accident in 2011.
I kind of saw what happens after big disaster and what happens to family land, and when corporations come in and they're better resourced than the local people, and how it changes the entire makeup of a community over time. It's almost like the second disaster after a disaster.
Autumn working tirelessly for her community. After the fire, she transformed a hunger fund into a fire relief fund, co-founding the Hub.
We got all this food for y'all.
A lot of us started thinking, what leads people to have to sell, right? When the aid leaves, when they're feeling desperate, when they feel like they don't have any choices left, when their options are gone and they've got kids to feed, how do we systematically remove some of those stressors and remove all of the reasons people might think I have to sell my land?
They now provide more than 100 generational families with free groceries for more than a year.
If we can collectively keep them fed, keep them housed, keep them supported, and just with everything we can do, let them know that we want you to hang on to your land, just don't leave.
Ka'a honua I ke kapa aka wahine. The world turns on the fabric made by the woman. Wahine are mothers, wahine are fighters, wahine are creators, wahine are a lot.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.